tell me, who are you and which band are you from? And yeah, tell the story.
The story of the band.
Yeah.
Well, it started off very much as a sort of internet side project with a friend, and we didn't really put too much effort into it in terms of, in terms of ambition. We just wanted to make some music. So we released our first sort of EP. It's very rough. It's not, yeah, it's definitely not our finest work, but it was fun making it. I think that came out in maybe 2015 or 16. And it got some traction, and generally we just started to build the band. I think at one point it was just me, but eventually, yeah, we got a full lineup, including some really talented guys, all based in London. Um, and yeah, then we had the full lineup, and we started to take, that meant we could, start playing live, and we were making, albums with contributions from everyone in the band, and yeah, no, the listenership just sort of grew, and we are where we are today, and yeah, no, it's been great so far.
Yeah. Okay. So have you released some CD or single?
Yeah, we've got in terms of albums, we've got three full-length albums. We've got Lines of the Ages, which I can't remember off the top of my head. I think came out maybe, I can't remember, I think maybe 2018 or 17, and then we had Dragons of the Ages. That came out in 2018 or 19, and then what we did over the course of the lockdown is we did three EPs, Tales, Sagas, and Legends, and then we ended up releasing them at the start of 2021 as a sort of full piece compilation album called Tales, Sagas, and Legends. And then, yeah, actually, just only last month, we released a single, "Ignite the Flame," which was a free track single, "Ignite the Flame." Away We Sail was track two, and we also had a remake of a track from our debut album, Lines of the Sea, called "Calm Before the Storm" on there. So yeah, we've released a lot of material, and I think actually that's something that we're quite, people take note of the fact that we release a lot of
Okay.
material.
Okay. Cool. So then you have how many albums you have releasing?
So we've released three in
Three.
total.
Okay. Okay. Three. So and how many songs do you have it in the album?
The Lions and Dragons, I believe, I think they both have 10 tracks, and then Tales, Saga, and Legends actually has, well, is it, I think it's for 15 because we did, so like I say, it was three EPs they were all four tracks each, but then we included on the final, on the album version, when we consolidated them all into one, we did an extra single, a remake of an old track, and a sort of outro track with it as well. So yeah, that 15 on the last one. That was quite a long record.
Yeah. Okay. That is great because I like when you have like 15, 20 songs in our album. You can just relax and have a great time with the music.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, exactly. And the whole idea is that all of our tracks really. I mean, something that I omitted actually at the start, when you asked about how the band came about, is we actually started off as a sort of Harry Potter themed parody band. It was meant to be funny. Whether or not it was funny, I don't know. Uh, but we moved away from that. And if there's any, on our Spotify, if you listen to some of our earlier stuff, you can see the Harry Potter references in there. Like I say, they're very much tongue in cheek. But we've moved away from that, and all the tracks now are sort of they sort of are set in this fantasy world that we've come up with. Nothing too, like I say, too outrageous. It's all going to be a little bit tongue in cheek, but we do also want to have a vocal sort of sense of adventure and stuff. And with the album, like it's meant to take you through different journeys, all set in this sort of fantasy world. So yeah, having the 15 tracks made it possible to make that
Yeah,
adventure, bigger.
that is really great because I hate when you buy a CD and you have only three tracks and then it's end.
Yeah, I mean, having said that, our last single was only three tracks, so.
Yeah. Okay. You got it. Okay. Okay. So what's make your band different from the other bands?
Um, I think something that like we like to think that we've got that sort. There's lots of sort of like bands out there that don't really take themselves too seriously. But some of them take it like quite far. I mean, talking about, you know, really big bands, obviously you've got like Ailstorm and Glory Hammer, where they take the sort of the fantasy cheese side of it, or the joking side of it, like a little, like quite far one way. You know, they're really focused on it being sort of humorous. And then you've got bands like Rhapsody, who are really focused on making it, you know, quite a serious you know, story that they're telling. And I don't always find, you know, I mean, I love Rhapsody, but I don't, you know, sometimes I don't always find that sort of seriousness works too well. So we like to think that you know, we sort of got the balance there, you know, where it's a bit tongue in cheek, but we just think that we just want to make music that puts a smile on people's faces. We want it to be jovial, we want it to be fun. You know, it's the sort of stuff that some people will hate and like some people will love. We don't think there's a lot of middle ground. I don't think you like Grimgotts. I think you either love it or you're not into them at all. And yeah, whether that makes us different or not, I don't know. But you know, it's certainly something that, you know, not just like for like the listeners as well as also like people within the band. We like it to sort of, we don't want to be one of those bands where it's completely you know, we're obsessed with sort of making it. We want it to be relaxed and we want it to be fun for everyone involved, like I say, including the band members. So perhaps that makes us slightly different from others. I'm not sure, but you know, that's how we look at it.
Okay, I really like, you know, that kind of fantasy style you have, because you know, Blind Guardian and like that kind of metal I really love.
Yeah, no, me too. I'm a huge fan of you know, Blind Guardian. Although any band with sort of fantasy-based lyrics, it does. I love it, and obviously we take huge inspiration from those sorts of bands. And like we like, you know, with Blind Guardian, they've got we're quite melody based as well. Like we our guitarist is exceptionally talented, and he's predominantly really sort of a death metal, thrash metal sort of guitarist, but you know, so sometimes he lets all his frustration out with the lack of guitarists in the solos because he shreds as fast as he possibly can. But yeah, no, yeah, huge influence on us, those guys, Blind Guardian.
Yeah, I understand, because I saw them live first time in Holland for 2006, and it's really great live band.
Oh wow, yeah, no, I saw them at Wacken one year, and yeah, they were incredible actually. The more I
Yeah.
think about it.
Okay. So what's uh, make you still playing with your band year after year? What's make the power of that?
What keeps us going year on year? I mean, I think it's just this love of making the music. I mean, it really is. I mean, we do play live. It's not. We're not. We're not like by choice, not a touring band. It's just sort of the live playing live isn't like as much a priority for us as it is with making the music. We do, like I said, we do play live, and we've got a gig coming up in September in London, and we tend to play London, and we had a good run-in of shows actually up until the pandemic, and we're trying to sort of get back in the swing of it. But really, we're almost obsessed with making music. We make a record, and we're so happy, we're really proud of it, and when we want to go again, we want to improve it, and that's exactly what we're doing. Like, you know, we've just released a single. We want to release something else before the end of this year. We want to release something early next year. We want to do a big, you know, an album next year as well. I think that's what we're just obsessed with it. A healthy obsession, but we love making music, and we love we're confident, and I'm very confident that every single record we make, each one is an improvement on the other. And I'm very confident that the next record we put out, which we've already started writing, and you know, from what we've written already, you know, I'm confident that it will be better than Tale Sagas and so yeah, that's what keeps it going. It is that just absolute passion for writing music. We love it.
Okay. So do you have been in Sweden and played sometime?
We would love to. We would love to love to play in Sweden. And that's the thing. I mean, it's one of those realities of the situation is that, you know, playing becomes quite a logistical nightmare sometimes. So the band was formed, really properly formed in London, and I don't live in London anymore. All the rest of the guys do. I live on the south coast. I live near Portsmouth, which isn't a million miles away from London, but it's just these little sort of things, which means rehearsals become, quite a laborious thing. And actually, thankfully, because I'm the singer, we can actually do it so that I can rehearse on my own, and the guys can rehearse together, and then what will happen is we'll get a gig, and we're quite selective with our gigs. You know, we tend to only do a gig if we really want to, and it just, we would love to do more shows, but it just goes. I mean, we've all got jobs and stuff, and all these things that they just make it so hard. But we love. I think Sweden is one place in particular that we would love to play. We know we've got a good listenership in Sweden. We can see that from our Spotify analytics, and in fact, we've discussed it, and yeah, we would love to be very open to it. I've only been to personally. I have been to Sweden, but it was only Malmo. I'd love to come. I'd love to explore Sweden a lot more.
Then you need to come to Luleå because it's so great.
Man, that sounds amazing. I've done I've done Scandinavia quite a lot, but Sweden, I've done Norway and Denmark, but Sweden is just pretty much evaded me for some reason. I'd love to come and see more of the country.
Yeah. Okay. So, where do you see your band in 5 years? What happened with the band?
We will continue to make music 100%. The band will. We will within 5 years. We will have done more albums. How many I can't say, and we will play more shows. In terms of whether they will, obviously we'd love to grow some more. We'd love that. But to be honest with you, we know that what makes us really happy is that we know when we release an album, there's always some positive response, and we like to think that there's we've got some fans who are very loyal to us, and as long as those guys are happy, we're not too fussed. We're not here to take over the world. We're here. We want to please and make happy the people that relate to our music, and that's all we can ask for really. Is that if we release a single and those guys who listen to the band on a regular basis love it, that's enough for me.
Yeah. Okay. So, do you have any favorite songs from your band?
It changes quite a lot. I mean, it's almost easy. It's almost easy for me to say tracks I dislike, to be honest with you, because I think with the Lines of the Sea album, our first one, I was going through a bit of a phase because I write most of the music, and I was going through a bit of a phase of listening to a lot of folk music, and you can hear that in the tracks, and I don't think it's really. I think people like the folk influence in Grimgotts, but I think I might have just taken it a little bit too far, and we weren't too happy with because our producer is very talented, very very good, amazing in fact, but he was only just starting off at the time, so it's all very raw. The production and the songwriting isn't probably my best, and so kind of tracks from the Lines would be my. It's like I said, I kind of love all of our songs, but I think our latest single, Ignite the Flame, is probably potentially probably our best track that we've done in terms of just sheer power. I think it's a really good one. I like our Land of Tomorrow. I think the chorus is really cool in that one.
Yeah, that's one. That is one of my favorites. Land of Tomorrow.
Cool. I do. Yeah, I'm pleased I do like that one. I think, like I said, I think the chorus is great, and I like For the Power as well. I think that's another good one.
We actually play it on Veckans Band Metal Radio last week. We play it Land of Tomorrow.
Oh, wicked!
Yeah.
I hope people enjoyed it.
Yeah, I hope so too, because we get a great record for people who's coming and listen, and it was great.
Awesome.
So
that's good to hear.
By the way, I don't have asked you. Do you can send some songs to Veckans Band Metal Radio so we can play it more?
Yeah, of course, absolutely. We'd be more than happy to. 100%, be our pleasure.
Then it's good. So the last question from this fan. Now we jump over to the Instagram. I have a lot of questions still, but there. It is difficult booking gigs in your country?
Is it difficult? To be honest with you, yeah. Well, yes and no, really. I think it's getting the gigs that you want that's difficult. If I'm being completely honest, there are gigs that come around, and unfortunately, like I say, there's a lot of logistical issues, and like we do just have to be realistic and sort of like weigh it up. Like, we're not here to like, we don't want to like make money, but we kind of don't want to lose money. So that, unfortunately, that does come into contention sometimes.
I know what you're talking about.
We don't mind breaking even. That's not a problem. But it's if we're going to make a bit, but also, yeah, like there are times when we get offered gigs and we'd love to play them, but like I say, I don't live in London, which unfortunately does make things difficult. And the guys are in other bands and they have commitments, and it comes down to all these really like the logistics come down to, right, is everyone available? Is it worth doing? Is the logistics of getting there viable? And those gigs are not as frequent as it's like, so yeah, in answer to the question, like, no, it isn't too difficult for to get gigs, but it's difficult to get the right gigs.
Yeah, that's true. I work for a band, like a manager here in Sweden. Do you know the band Mike Machine from Sweden?
I do, yes.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I've definitely, yes, 100%. They come up on my Spotify recommendations, 100%, yeah.
That's cool, because I am the manager of the band.
Oh, wow, cool.
So you know that band. That's great. And we try and booking new concert now, and it's really fucking hard and get concert.
Yeah, I think sometimes as well, like, we see shows pop up that we think, oh, it would be good to be part of that, and we actually go to them and say, oh, if you need a slot and stuff, we have done that. But like I was saying earlier, with the gigs and stuff, I think we would like it to be a more prominent feature of the band. Like we know we don't actually play enough, and I actually watched a sort of a review video from someone the other week, and they said that exact thing. He said it gets frustrating because we sort of quite active, and all of a sudden we go cold, and people don't hear from us. And like, we don't mean it to be the case. It's just the nature of the band and stuff. And so yeah, like we do probably need to step it up a bit with the gigs, but it's like I was saying, it does come down to those logistics at the end of the day. I mean, we would love to do a tour, and we have the capacity to do a UK tour easily, but it's organising it.
Yeah, I start working with Mike Machine this year, and I have booking one concert this year in a little pub in the, outside.
Yeah. But, I mean, we've done a few very different gigs. I think the very first gig we played was a good one in Birmingham in the UK, and because our listenership was reasonable, I think it was perhaps, I mean, we hadn't played. It was our first gig, and it perhaps was slightly too big actually for a first gig. We did really well. Well, at least we thought we did really well, and like I said, I think we. Then up to the pandemic, we were playing quite regularly. I'd say maybe like, every other month. It certainly wasn't, like a weekly and stuff like that. But the pandemic hit, and that really put, a bullet in the head in terms of performing. And then after, what we then had the issue of was getting back into the studio as a band, because there were pandemic rules as well. You could only have a certain amount of people in a studio. But then also we got offered some quite good gigs actually. I think it was the start of this year. But the problem was we had a new album, we hadn't rehearsed properly, and we were going to play a gig in March. I can't remember what it was called now. It was a festival over here. And if I'm being completely honest, like, the guys had to persuade me to do it, because I was like, I don't think we should be doing it. I didn't think we were ready. But the pandemic was still slightly, playing a role over here, and the festival did actually get cancelled. And I was disappointed, but a small part of me was relieved. But then what I said to the guys was like, let's play like a smallish gig, just to sort of get us back into the flow of it. And we did that last month, not too long ago actually, and that went great. We really enjoyed it, and so now we're a bit more, because we're confident with the setup, with the new tracks and everything. So we're a bit more back in the swing of it now, and I think we've got a few more booked for this year. They are London based. Okay. So yeah, that's cool, and hopefully we can get a few more going. But yeah.
I need to and say you something after this interview. I don't will take it in the recording, but I take it after. So
sure.
So you go and play this year, you say?
Yeah, we got. Oh gosh, I can't remember where. it's in London. It's London. It's in September, and it's London. I mean, when I say where, I know it's in London, but I can't remember. London's obviously a big place. I can't remember exactly where it is. But yeah, we got a gig in London in September, and I believe we have perhaps another one in October, also in London. Yeah. So yeah, we've got a couple. I'm sure we'll have another one. But we will go soon into the recording phase, and we get very focused on the recording. And we like I say, we get very almost obsessed with that, and I'm sure that whilst that is happening, like we will probably put gigs on ice, because it's very difficult to do both at the same time. And we want to for us as well. For me, it is about, I love making albums. I think a lot of our fans generally aren't in the UK as well, and so it's important for those guys that we release our material, and so we want to focus completely on that new material, because we want it to be the best it can be, and I think if we don't want to get sidetracked with other things, so yeah, we'll probably just have to put the gigs on ice. But yeah, for now, yeah, we're gonna do a few more this year.
Okay, that's great, and great you get a gig, and yeah, it's happened something with your band, and I think we jump over to the Instagram fan question.
Cool.
So I got I take out 10 question, because it's coming a lot of question, and
sure.
I think it's more than 100 questions. I think yeah, we don't have time for that.
Sure. No worries. Sounds good.
So I take 10 questions for you. So cool. What's the first record you buy for your over money?
This is going to be disappointing. I think it was Eiffel 65, I'm Blue.
Okay. I think you will say first something with metal or something. Yeah.
I do. I was a big Iron Maiden fan growing up. But my dad had all the CDs, so I didn't need to buy them.
Okay, that's right. Okay. So which song do you wish you have made from the big one?
I think that's such a good question. I really love Dragon Force, actually, and I love their song Valley of the Damned off their first album. That's just such a good song. It's so epic. It's so powerful. Something like I think I'll say that, because that's a brilliant song.
Okay, that's a good song, but Freedom Call.
I love Freedom Call as well. I don't take any of their songs.
Yeah. So, what is the best record ever have releasing in the world?
Well, yeah, if we're going with metal, I think it's Number of the Beast by Iron Maiden. I think that album it's too good. It's too good.
So, what is the best concert you have ever seen?
It would be Iron Maiden, actually. I saw them in Paris. I think when I was quite young. I think I was 13. But it was amazing. It was just as a kid as well. It was just such an amazing experience. So yeah,
Okay.
definitely. Like, yeah, it was amazing.
I saw Metallica actually on the Big Four, and that was a great thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. I can remember that.
Mm.
That was yeah. I think yeah. No, I couldn't get tickets to that one if I remember correctly. But yeah, no, I can imagine that was amazing.
So, what is the most unrated band or artist of all?
Most underrated artist. There's a Swedish band called Seventh Wonder, who I don't know. I know that they're quite a big band in terms of like relative to I guess to metal, but they are so good. The singer, I think he's in Camelot now, but
Okay.
my goodness me, like he is absolutely like amazing. And their early albums, they remind me when I was at university because it was all I listened to. They were so good. I think they actually might have something new coming out, but yeah, they're criminally underrated. I think they would be classed as prog metal, and lots of people talk about Dream Theater and Symphony X. I think they're way better than those guys, but
Mm,
that's just me.
that's cool. Then I need to check it out.
Oh yeah, they're amazing, really really
So,
good.
so, can you say a record other people don't know you listen on?
Record that other people don't know. Hmm. Um. Oh, there's a band called I think they're called In Victory. They might be Swedish actually.
In Victory, by the way, yeah, I think so too. Because I think I'm booking an interview with them, but don't close the interview the day before.
Yeah, but yeah, no, it's definitely In Victory. They came up. I listened to them, and
Yeah,
they got their songs are so good.
yeah,
So I don't know. I think they're quite. I think they're probably. I don't really know how well known they are. I don't think they are massively um, well known, but they probably. I think similar to Grimgotts, they'll have a. I'm sure they have a great following. Somebody told me it might only be one bloke actually, but he's awesome. If it is a or she, no, I think it is a bloke, and they are awesome. Yeah.
okay. And the last question are: what is the best concert you have had, and why? Do you like festival or smaller club gig?
It's yeah, it's hard because I think I mentioned earlier the first gig we played. That one was special because it was a festival. It was indoor, but the crowd was a really good size, and it was special for us because it was the first time we were playing, and it was the first time that I personally played live on stage since I was young. I used to be in bands when I was like 17 years
Mm.
old. And I think it was 2018. So yeah, I think I was 20. How old am I now? I'm 30 now. So I think I was 26 at the time. So it'd been a while, been yeah, like almost a decade since I played live. So that was quite special. And we haven't played any like massive like crowds. So I can't really comment too much on that, but I prefer the festivals because you get an eclectic sort of group of people and who rather people will
Yeah,
come and listen to you that haven't necessarily heard of you and they don't even necessarily are a fan of your like the genre and stuff and you can listen we've had some nice experiences. We played a nice little festival and we had um like some fans came from Japan and stuff and they came to watch us and that was really nice and it's just those little sort of things like that, those little touches, and we have that at gigs sometimes. Like people come over to us and say, "Oh, we came from X," and it's actually quite unbelievable that people have
yeah.
come to see you play. Um, so yeah, I know. So I haven't really answered the question there. I'd say probably like festivals, but sort of smaller ones because
Mm.
well, not necessarily smaller ones, but sort of yeah, I'll go with festivals.
Okay, festival is very nice and very cool and play. I know it. So the last question, we have one part in this interview. We always give a question from the band before, and band gives question to next band. So the band before asking you, what would you do if you don't create music?
Well, unfortunately, I already do have a job. But from a creative side, I have to do creative, and I've got I would channel all of my energy as far away from my work as possible because I don't want to have that as a focus in my life. So I would channel it into. I have like stories in my head of that I would put it towards sort of like writing a book or something if I had to channel my creativity. But I hope that's never the case. We want to continue to make. I will be making music for a long time, and I've actually. Other than Grimgotts, I'm going to be releasing some solo stuff as well very soon. So, I will. Well, I would struggle not to be to be not making music.
Okay, nice. So, do you have any question for the next band I will talking with?
I think it would all, yeah. I'm just trying to think. I don't want to ask something too sort of like serious, but I also want to. I don't want to ask him something that's just complete nonsense. I guess it would be cool to know, like, do they think if they're gonna change their musical direction at all? Like, will they stick to like a formula, or will they experiment with other elements, other genres perhaps, or will they stick very much to like their core sound? I think that would be a cool to know to see what they do, because we struggle with that as a band ourselves. Like, do we go slightly heavier? Do we go slightly more technical, etc.? So I think it'd be cool to get another perspective on that.
Yeah, that's a great question. And the last thing, do you want to say anything to everyone want to see this interview?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for taking the time to have me on. It's absolutely my pleasure. And yeah, no, thank you to anyone that's ever listened to us, if anyone, and particularly people who have bought the CD or come watch the gig, and it really does mean a lot. And it's so lovely to read the positive comments and stuff on YouTube and whatnot. So thank you to everyone that's helped us with our journey, and I just hope that we can continue to provide you with music that well, hopefully you're enjoying.
Yeah, and absolutely. And we do you feel it's okay with this interview?
Yeah, no, it's been, of course, absolutely.
That's great. And then I stopped the recording.
Cool.